Good morning, church family, and welcome to today's devotional. We're going to be looking at how do we, as children of God, receive grace. And I want to read from Romans 5, verse 1 to 2. It says, "Therefore, since we have been justified through faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand. And we rejoice in the hope of the glory of God." It's amazing how faith was also required for our salvation. Yet again, when receiving grace, faith was required again. So faith plays such an important role in our lives as well. And we're going to be looking at that next week, and the role that it plays in our lives as children of God. But today, I want to just focus on how we can receive grace and how it empowers us, but also helps us to overcome. So now we know that faith is also required for us to receive grace. But in the next verse, it reads, James 4, verse 6 to 8. "But he gives more grace. Therefore he says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Therefore submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you." And let's just look at that. So it just says, it promises us that God does give more grace, which is exciting because we all need more grace. But exciting that there's not a set amount of grace that can be received, but that it actually promises that more grace can be received and not just this set amount given to everybody. But there's things that can allow us to receive more grace. Next it says, "Resist the proud, but gives grace to the humble." So again, these polar opposites. Resist the proud, gives grace to the humble. And then what we need to do is submit to God, resist the devil. Interesting that it says resist the devil, and also when God was talking about resisting the proud, they used the same word. Very strong word then actually to be compared to that, right? Resist the devil and he will flee from you. And then that polar opposite is draw near to God and he will draw near to you. So the devil fleeing from us when we resist him, but God drawing near to us when we draw near to him. Great promise, beautiful promise that if we draw near to God, he draws near to us. Friends, at the end of the day, it just talks about how humility is needed for us to access this grace, to be able to walk in a relationship with God. Because God knows what's best for us. He knows what is needed for us to overcome, to live a life that is full of him, but also full of his grace, and that will empower us to overcome the things in our life that are hindering us from drawing closer to him. Humility is just true submission to a God that loves us, a God that knows what's best for us. And it's if you look at the polar opposite of, or just the opposite of humility, it's being prideful. And I love how they just describe pride. And it says, pride is seen in the way we accept or reject truth. And it's so true. It's so true how it can just be applied to our lives as well. How do we accept or reject truth in our lives? And that just shows if we are prideful or humble. But that's the same with things pertaining to God, is how do we accept it or reject it? And that will just show our humility in our lives as well. Great knowing that God offers us more grace, but also great knowing that he will be the one helping us, empowering us to become more humbled, to receive this grace that is empowering but also overcoming. I hope you had a wonderful time with us this morning, and may this bless you and encourage you to walk close to God, as you walk close to God, obtaining this grace that he promises even more abundantly every day.